In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on September 7, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Western Michigan versus Ohio State. The college football season continues to roll forward this Saturday with a captivating matchup between the Western Michigan Broncos and the second-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. This game is sure to attract attention as the Broncos seek to turn their season around, while the Buckeyes aim to solidify their standing as one of the top teams in the nation. Western Michigan, now in its second year under head coach Lance Taylor, is focusing on improving its defense after a shaky performance last season. In 2022, the Broncos allowed an average of 32 points per game while giving up 393.3 total yards. Although they managed to limit Wisconsin to 28 points in their Week 1 matchup, the challenge of containing Ohio State's high-octane offense will be significantly more daunting. Even though Ryan Day has stepped back from play-calling duties for the Buckeyes, the offense remains in good hands with new offensive coordinator Chip Kelly. Kelly instills confidence, and both Will Howard and Jeremiah Smith are expected to benefit from another week of settling into their roles. Western Michigan put up a valiant effort in their opener, ultimately falling 28-14 to Wisconsin, but managing to cover the spread as 24.5-point underdogs. Despite their admirable fight, the reality is that Ohio State presents a much greater challenge when they host the Broncos in Columbus on Saturday night. Given Western Michigan's performance in Week 1, I believe Ohio State is undervalued here, which presents a prime opportunity to bet on the Buckeyes. Although the Broncos kept things close against Wisconsin, they still surrendered 388 yards. While they did manage a few red zone stops, it's unlikely they'll replicate that success against a veteran, talent-laden Ohio State offense led by Chip Kelly. The Buckeyes should cover the spread with ease, bolstered not only by their potent offense but also by a relentless defense that will likely smother the Broncos' attempts to maintain possession. Therefore, the Ohio State Buckeyes to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Last week, Ohio State exploded for 56 points against another Mid-American Conference opponent, Akron. Looking back at Ryan Day's tenure since his first full season in 2019, the Buckeyes have consistently dominated the Mid-American Conference, boasting a perfect 4-0 record while outscoring their opponents 264-39. With this track record, it wouldn't be surprising if Ohio State surpasses the total points by themselves. They are unlikely to concede many points at home against a group of 5 opponent. After a somewhat disappointing offensive season with Kyle McCord at the helm last year, this year's Buckeyes offense seems poised for a breakout season, loaded with veteran talent and guided by one of the brightest offensive minds in Chip Kelly. As conference play approaches, the starters are expected to play deep into the game to build chemistry. The Buckeyes recently put up 52 points on Akron, and while Western Michigan might be a better team than the Zips, Ohio State should have little difficulty moving the ball in this matchup. With their talented offensive unit, I expect the Buckeyes to comfortably surpass the 40-point mark and possibly drop another 50-point game. Meanwhile, the Broncos are likely to struggle both on the ground and through the air. It's worth noting that the over is 6-1 in Western Michigan's last 7 Saturday games and 5-2 in their previous 7 September games. In my opinion, the projected total for this game is set too low. This could very well turn into a one-sided affair. As a result, over the projected total is our full game total pick. NC State versus Tennessee. A high-stakes non-conference showdown is set to unfold as 2 ranked power conference football teams clash on the gridiron. The Southeastern Conference's Tennessee Volunteers, ranked number 14, hit the road to take on the Atlantic Coast Conference's number 24 NC State Wolfpack in a game held at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. Tennessee enters this contest riding high after a dominant 69-3 victory over Chattanooga last Saturday, comfortably covering the spread as a 38.5-point favorite. In contrast, NC State kicked off their season with a 38-21 win at home against Western Carolina, though they failed to cover the 32.5-point spread in that matchup last Thursday. Historically, Tennessee has held the upper hand in this series, boasting a 2-1 record against NC State, including a 35-21 victory in their most recent encounter in Atlanta on August 31, 2012. Although both teams secured wins in their season openers, their paths to victory couldn't have been more different. Tennessee overwhelmed Chattanooga right from the start, jumping out to a 24-0 lead in the first quarter and coasting the rest of the way. On the other hand, NC State faced a tougher challenge, trailing entering the fourth quarter before pulling away against Western Carolina. It remains unclear whether NC State's performance was intentionally conservative to make it harder for Tennessee to prepare, or simply a lackluster effort. Given that the Wolfpack allowed 286 total yards of offense to Western Carolina's quarterback, Cole Gonzalez, they may struggle against Tennessee's Iamaleava. Tennessee is eager to make a statement this season, signaling to the Southeastern Conference that they won't be an easy team to contend with. This neutral site game has all the ingredients to be a must-watch event on Saturday. With Tennessee favored by a touchdown, the value seems to be on their side for several reasons. Firstly, quarterback Nico Iamaleava showed his ability to shine under pressure in the bowl game against Iowa, delivering a standout performance against a top-5 defense. While NC State's defense was solid last year, they are still trying to fill gaps from offseason departures, as evidenced by their struggles against Western Carolina in Week 1. Tennessee's fast-paced offense will likely compound NC State's defensive issues. Meanwhile, Tennessee's defense, though featuring new faces, proved in Week 1 that they are a cohesive unit and are poised to present a significant challenge for NC State's Grayson McCall, who is still adjusting to his new team. Ultimately, Tennessee's firepower should be too much for NC State to handle, making the Tennessee Volunteers to win and cover the spread as favorites our full-game side pick. Tennessee's season opener easily went over the total as they combined with Chattanooga to score 72 points, surpassing the 57-point line set by the oddsmakers. Last season, the Volunteers saw the over hit in 6 of their 13 games, with 1 push. They stayed under the total in their lone neutral site game, which was a bowl matchup against Iowa. Meanwhile, NC State narrowly missed the over in their opener, combining with Western Carolina for 59 points, just shy of the 60-point line set for that game. Last season, NC State leaned towards the under, staying under the total in 9 of their 13 games, including their neutral site contest in the Pop-Tarts Bowl against Kansas State. Both teams possess potent offenses capable of lighting up the scoreboard, and with defenses still finding their footing, this game could turn into a high-scoring affair. The oddsmakers seem to recognize this potential, as evidenced by the elevated total of 60.5 points. Last season, Tennessee went 6-6-1 against the total, with an average posted line of 55 points. This includes going under in their bowl game against Iowa, where the line was set at 36.5, and the final score was 35-0. On the other hand, NC State went 7-6 to the under last season, with an average posted line of 48 points. The current line for this game seems inflated, considering both teams are still integrating new offensive playmakers. Additionally, the game will be played in a loud, raucous environment, which could disrupt the offensive flow. While the defenses may have their question marks, the elevated line appears to be an overreaction. Although there's potential for fireworks, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Houston versus Oklahoma. This clash features 2 powerhouse programs as the Big 12 takes on a representative from the Southeastern Conference in a gridiron showdown set in the Sooner State. The Houston Cougars will hit the road to face the number 15 Oklahoma Sooners under the lights on Saturday night. Houston is coming off a tough season opener where they were thoroughly outplayed and suffered a 27-7 defeat at the hands of UNLV despite being favored by 3.5 points. Meanwhile, Oklahoma began their season with a dominating performance, trouncing Temple 51-3 at home last Friday night, easily covering the hefty 42.5-point spread. Historically, Oklahoma holds a 3-1 advantage in the all-time series against Houston, including a decisive 49-31 victory at home in their most recent matchup on September 1, 2019. Houston's performance against UNLV in their opener was nothing short of disastrous. They were shut out 20-0 until they managed to score a meaningless touchdown in the game's dying moments. Offensively, they struggled mightily, accumulating just 59 yards in the first half. Quarterback Donovan Smith had a rough outing, completing only 15 of his 30 passes for a mere 135 yards while throwing 2 interceptions. Although UNLV is a solid group of 5 team, they do not compare to a powerhouse like Oklahoma. The Sooners' offensive firepower should allow them to build a comfortable lead and maintain it throughout the game. Transfer receiver Dan Burks, who joined from Purdue, made an immediate impact by hauling in 3 touchdowns in their opener. Despite Jackson Arnold throwing for just 141 yards, the offense looked explosive and capable of putting up points in bunches. This matchup pits 2 teams that experienced drastically different outcomes in their respective season openers. Houston was completely stifled offensively by UNLV, failing to score for nearly the entire game, which should be a significant concern for head coach Willie Fritz. Now, the Cougars must head to Norman, where Oklahoma just dismantled Temple, forcing 6 turnovers in the process. Arnold may not have been overly impressive, but he didn't need to be, as the Sooners dominated in every phase of the game. Given Houston's dismal showing, it's hard to see them presenting much of a challenge to an Oklahoma team that appears poised to control this matchup. The spread is undeniably large, but I didn't see anything from Houston that suggests they can keep this contest competitive. Although the Sooners had a few frustrating moments in their opener, the talent disparity between these 2 teams is glaring. Willie Fritz has a track record of turning around programs, but that process typically takes time, and Houston will need more of it to compete at this level. Oklahoma should overpower this Houston squad, systematically breaking them down over the course of the full 60 minutes. Therefore, the Oklahoma Sooners to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Houston's season opener against UNLV saw them fall significantly short of the total points expected. The 2 teams combined for just 34 points, well under the 55.5-point total set by the oddsmakers. Last season, Houston tended to hit the under, achieving that mark in 7 out of their 12 games, including a 3-2 record to the under in road games, with 3 consecutive unders. Oklahoma also stayed under the total in their opener as they combined with Temple for 54 points, coming in under the 57.5-point mark. However, in 2023, the Sooners often went over, surpassing the total in 8 of their 13 games, particularly at home, where they went over the number in 4 out of 6 games, scoring 50 or more points in 4 of those contests. I'm anticipating a similar outcome to what we saw in Norman last week, possibly a 35-0 or 35-3 type of game on Saturday night. If my earlier analysis wasn't clear enough, I have very little confidence in Houston's ability to move the ball effectively. I expect Oklahoma to come out strong, establish an early lead, and force Houston into a pass-heavy approach, which could play right into the Sooners' hands, especially considering their secondary is their strongest unit, according to Pro Football Focus. In their opener, Oklahoma also showcased a strong ground game, racking up 220 rushing yards against Temple. They'll be facing a Houston defense that allowed 195 rushing yards to UNLV, indicating that there should be plenty of opportunities for the Sooners to exploit the Cougars on the ground. This should keep the clock running and limit Houston's scoring chances. Given Temple's inability to do much against Oklahoma last week and Houston's struggles against UNLV, I'm expecting this game to stay under the projected total as well. Therefore, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.